Welcome to Revenge with Lyra.
Bring her bags in. She's not staying at her apartment anymore. She'll live here now. You'll take care of her from today, my husband shouted from the driveway, while my mother stood beside him holding a folder like she owned my entire life. That folder contained the final straw. My mother took a $3 million loan for my sister's apartment, and now she wants to stay in my house so she can live off me. Those were her exact words last night, said proudly, like she had planned the world's most brilliant strategy. My heart was beating, but my face stayed calm. My name is Eliza Monroe. I'm 32. And I just had one quiet question echoing in my mind. Why do the people I love think I owe them my life? My husband dragged her suitcases to the porch like some hotel bellboy, and Mom said with full entitlement, Eliza, start clearing your guest room. I'll be staying permanently. Food, utilities, everything will be your responsibility now. Your sister and I already decided. We signed the papers. This is best for everyone. She said everyone like I didn't count as a person. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I didn't even blink. I simply turned and walked inside. Because I didn't need to fight. Everything was already done. Last night, before this surprise move-in attempt, I had quietly driven to the bank. And today, 2 hours before they arrived, the final signatures were completed. So when my husband rolled her suitcases forward, confidently, and my mother walked in like a queen returning to her palace, they froze. They screamed. Because the thing they expected to walk into was no longer a place they could step foot in. Not legally. Not financially. Not anymore. And I said nothing. I only held up one single document, and my mother's knees genuinely buckled. My mother's lipstick literally smeared as her jaw dropped. She clutched the wall like the ground tilted beneath her. My husband looked confused, then angry, then terrified. Because the document in my hand wasn't random. It was the new property deed. Signed yesterday. Stamped. Filed. Recorded. And no one, not even blood, could undo it. Mom pointed at it with shaking fingers. Eliza, what is that? What is that? I spoke slowly, quietly, like someone who had already finished their grieving. This house is no longer mine. My husband choked. What do you mean it's not yours? Whose name? I tilted my head just slightly, letting the silence stretch, letting the weight settle. Then I answered. It's in my daughter's name now. The hallway became a vacuum. My mother's face changed color, from entitled pink to chalk white. She's 6, Mom whispered. And she owns more than you ever will, I replied. No yelling. No revenge monologue. No guilt tripping. Just a calm truth. My lawyer insisted on this transfer last night when I told him about Mom's $3 million loan plan and the scheme to dump responsibility on me. From that moment, there was nothing left to discuss. A 6-year-old can't be bullied into paying off someone else's debt. A 6-year-old can't be manipulated at dinner tables. A 6-year-old can't be emotionally blackmailed into responsibility she never chose. My mom tried one last pathetic sentence. Eliza's sweetheart, just until we figure things out. I gently set the deed folder against my chest with one hand, and with the other, I reached for the front door. Read the last page, I whispered. Her scream filled the yard. Because that last page stated that they were legally trespassing. My husband lunged forward like he could bargain his way out of this with attitude. He grabbed the folder, scanned the bottom page, and actually stumbled backward into the entry table. Because there, in thick black font, was the exact clause my lawyer drafted. All past and future liabilities assumed by third parties are not transferable to the minor homeowner. Translation? Their $3 million loan, the rope they took to hang me with, was now wrapped around their own necks. Not mine. Not my daughter's. Not anyone they could access. My mother held her chest like she couldn't breathe. Eliza, we're family, she begged. We have to stay here. You don't understand the bank. I cut her off quietly. I understand perfectly. You wanted to move into my home, so you could let my income carry your mistake. My husband yelled, We are your family. I finally looked him dead in the eyes, really looked at him. Not the boy I once felt sorry for. Not the man who pretended to love me, but the parasite who only loved what I provided. "You're not my family," I said. "My daughter is." My mom's knees buckled. Because that sentence wasn't emotional. It was final. Behind them, on the driveway, the neighbor across the street paused watering his lawn. He saw 3 suitcases by their car, and he saw I wasn't afraid. My mom hiccuped between breaths, panic rising. "Eliza, please, just one night until we figure this out." I slowly reached into my pocket, not for a phone, not for a wallet, but for a small white envelope. Their eyes followed it like it was radioactive. "Well, what is that?" my mother said. I placed it gently on the porch railing and stepped back. "This is the bank letter." My mother snatched the envelope like it might contain oxygen, tore it open, and when her eyes reached the second paragraph, her entire body deflated. She read it out loud, voice shaking. "Due to the insolvency risk, collateral asset seizure may begin within 14 days. Her hands trembled harder. They thought my house was the collateral.
No.
My lawyer made sure the collateral listed was my sister's apartment, the one they took the $3 million loan for. Mom looked up, horrified. "She'll lose everything," she whispered. My husband tried to recover his voice. "Eliza, listen, if you let us live here for just a month, we can stall the bank. We can." "No," I said simply. He blinked, stunned that a single syllable could cut deeper than shouting. Then, like a cornered animal, his voice turned cheap.
"Fine.
You think you're better than us because you got lucky in life? Because you earn well? Because you..." I stepped closer. "Because I stopped letting you drain me." He shut up. Mom stared at me, like she wanted to rewind all those years she dismissed me. Treat me like air. Treat me like the fallback child, the invisible provider. Now, suddenly, I was the only person who could save them. It was almost poetic. But I wasn't here for revenge. I was here for boundaries. "I'm not responsible for fixing consequences you created," I said. "Not anymore." They looked at me like I'd just changed shape, like I became someone larger, someone they didn't have access to anymore. My mom finally whispered one last question. "So, what do you want us to do?" I steadied my breath and gave them the only direction that would ever protect my daughter again. "Leave." My name is Eliza Carter. I'm 31, and the moment that single word left my mouth, leave, something unraveled in all of them. Mom's shoulders collapsed first. My husband tried one more time to posture, but he couldn't meet my eyes. Because he knew, deep down, the woman who used to panic breathe at night, afraid she'd lose love if she said no, that woman wasn't here anymore. I motioned toward the foyer, toward the suitcases they had dragged inside. "Take your things," I said quietly. Mom looked around my hallway, the polished hardwood, the framed photos of my daughter's art school projects, like she was realizing this wasn't just a house. It was a life she never helped build, but wanted to live inside. My husband moved first, wheeling the suitcase out, avoiding my gaze, jaw clenched from the humiliation of a consequence he could no longer dodge. And I knew he wasn't afraid of being homeless. He was afraid of someone finally refusing to be his safety net. Mom hesitated at the threshold, waiting for softness, for a crack in my voice, for the old pattern. But I didn't bend.
Not this time.
"You still have 14 days, I said calmly. "Call the bank. Call a counselor. Call whoever you need. But don't call me to carry the weight for choices I didn't make." Her mouth quivered. For a second, I thought she might apologize. But instead she said the sentence she always defaults to when she has no control. "You're cold." I nodded.
No.
"I'm clear." And I closed the door. No slam. No drama. Just closing. Silence felt warm for the first time in years. I walked back to the kitchen, poured water, and texted my lawyer one sentence. "Proceed to final stage." The next morning, the ripple began. At 9:14 a.m. sharp, my phone buzzed, not with my mother, not with my husband, but with the bank. "Mrs. Carter, this is compliance." We need clarification on yesterday's change of occupancy filing. I had prepared for this. Calmly, I forwarded the documented proof, the notarized homeowner declaration, the one I had signed 3 days earlier, the day I realized Mom intended to move in forever. Ethan, my attorney, had told me, if they try to live off you again, you can enforce non-residency. It's legal. So when the bank received the updated paperwork, they froze all family-linked access, utilities, secondary reimbursement cards, everything. By 10:02 a.m., I had 27 missed calls. By 10:15 a.m., a text came from my sister. What did you do? They're telling MOM she needs new proof of residency for everything. I didn't reply. I simply sent her a screenshot. It was the internal audit memo from the bank. Parent signature irregularities on the 3M loan must be verified and reevaluated within 5 business days. Her typing bubble popped up, then disappeared. She knew what that meant. Their little smart move, using my mother's guilt to stretch finances, was now under review. Actions have weight. Consequences have timelines. Around lunchtime, I walked outside to get the mail. Across the street, my mother and my husband were both on the sidewalk, pacing, whisper fighting, pointing at their phones, the panic becoming visible, physical, real. Mom finally looked over at me. She looked older than she had yesterday. Please, she mouthed. But I didn't go to her. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just turned, unlocked my door, and went inside. And that silence broke them way more than shouting ever could. By evening, my husband finally attempted his grand gesture. He showed up at my door alone, holding a takeout bag like peace could be purchased with noodles. Eliza, let's just talk. His voice was soft, almost gentle, the same tone he used the first time he convinced me to ignore my own instincts. I didn't open the door fully, just enough for him to see I was calm. Talk about what? I asked. He swallowed. You're overreacting. You can't just leave family on the street. There it was. Not regret. Not accountability. Just the expectation that I should fix it all for them. I leaned against the doorframe. You've built your entire life around believing someone will clean up your mess, I said quietly. But that someone isn't me anymore. He opened his mouth, but I cut him off. And, by the way, don't call them family. Family respects boundaries. He blinked, confused, because manipulation doesn't understand clarity. Then I handed him a plain envelope. His name in my handwriting. He opened it right there. Inside were 2 documents. The bank's formal non-residency approval. The petition for separation of financial responsibility under Oregon statute, filed this morning. His face drained because those papers meant one thing. I wasn't just emotionally done. I was legally done. He placed a hand on the door like he could stop reality from shifting. Eliza, please. I looked directly into his eyes, not with anger, but finality. You wanted a life without my support, I said softly. Now you have it. And I closed the door, slow, gentle, precise. That was the real ending. Not a scream. Not a fight. Just a clean sever, a line drawn. Tomorrow, the paperwork would finalize. Tonight, I slept without dread for the first time in years. The next morning, as sunlight hit the kitchen tiles, I brewed coffee in quiet. No suppressed panic behind my ribs. No fear of the next emotional ambush. My lawyer called at 9:14 a.m. sharp. It's done, he said. All signatures verified. Financial separation activated. They can't attach themselves to your assets anymore. I exhaled long, slow, like a lifetime of tension leaving my bones. Within 10 minutes, my phone buzzed, over and over, unknown numbers. I turned it face down. Silence wasn't avoidance now, it was power. Instead of doom scrolling or peeking at their reactions online, I grabbed my keys and drove to the Crescent Foundation's new mentorship facility. The same program I built so girls wouldn't grow up begging for love from people who would never give it. Maya was waiting, camera in hand, hair in a messy ponytail, excitement radiating. You ready to review the new submissions? She asked. I smiled. Genuinely. I am. Completely. We sat in the editing bay, and she showed me the film of a 16-year-old who made a short documentary on healing through boundaries. Her voice shook in the interview, trembling with that familiar bruise of being dismissed. But her eyes, they were fierce. Maya paused the clip. "You changed everything for her," she said. I thought back to last night, the suitcases, the door closing, the stillness. "No," I corrected gently. "I just showed her a door. She chose to walk through it. We processed scholarship selections. We drafted mentorship schedules. We crafted futures, not repairs. At noon, we stepped outside. The air crisp, the horizon wide. My phone was still vibrating in my purse. But for the first time, I didn't owe anyone an answer. Some stories do not resolve by returning. Some resolve by refusing to shrink. I looked out at the city, the new chapter unfolding. My life, I whispered to myself. Not borrowed, not sacrificed, not conditional.